They say that good things come to those who wait, but sometimes you have to make your own luck. And that's exactly what happened to Alicia Moore, dressed simply in flats and a navy blazer. She barely looked like someone who managed international clients and 200 employees. The pilot made an announcement. Apologies for the delay. Knowing who you're dealing with can make all the difference. Sometimes it's better to be patient and let your actions speak for themselves. In the end, it was the man who tried to steal Alicia's seat that ended up losing his dignity. He could have avoided all of that if he had just been willing to listen to what she had to say. But he was too busy trying to assert his dominance and ended up humiliating himself instead. And Alicia did exactly that. She didn't shout or demand attention. Instead, she waited patiently for the right moment to take action. She knew that making a fuss wouldn't have solved the problem. It would have only caused unnecessary drama. So she let the situation play out until she had the upper hand. Then she made her move. In business and in life, timing is everything. Alicia knew that if she had confronted the man earlier, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. He would have just dug in his heels and refused to budge. But by waiting, she turned the tables. When the attendant and supervisor were called in, it was clear that Alicia was in the right. All she had to do was sit back and let the system work in her favor. This shows a level of confidence and self-assurance that can only come with experience and success. Alicia didn't need to prove herself. She knew her worth, and others respected her enough to take her word for it. It's being able to command respect without having to demand it is a sign of true power. We're addressing a passenger issue to ensure a safe and respectful flight for all. A few moments later, a different woman approached Alicia. She wore a crisp black dress suit with a Delta executive badge. Ms. Moore, our sincerest apologies. We'd also like to formally invite you to speak at our Women in Leadership Aviation Summit next month, if your schedule allows. Alicia accepted the invitation and settled into her seat. When the woman in the black suit turned to leave, Alicia stopped her. Actually, I have one more request. Of course. Anything for you, Ms. Moore? Could you please escort this gentleman to the back of the plane? I think he needs a supervisor. As the plane took off, the woman in the black suit understood what had happened. The man had tried to bully a seat from a very important woman, but how could they tell? She looked at the passenger seated behind Alicia, then at the empty seat next to her. Only one thought crossed her mind. He picked the wrong seat. She glanced at her boarding pass, seat 1A, but when she arrived, a tall white man in his 50s was already in the seat, laptop open, clearly settled in. Excuse me, she said politely. I think you might be in my seat. He didn't even look up. This is first class, ma'am. Coach is back there. A few nearby passengers turned to watch. Alicia held out her boarding pass with a calm smile. Still, the man waved her off. Flight's about to leave. Just ask the attendant to find you a seat in economy. Alicia wasn't going to argue or cause a scene. She was about to do something better than that. She stepped aside, quiet but firm. The flight attendant came over, took one look at Alicia's ticket, and immediately tensed. Sir, she said firmly, you're in the wrong seat. This passenger has 1A, the man huffed. That can't be right. I'm platinum. Maybe she printed the wrong, but before he could finish, the attendant tapped her mic. Gate, we need a supervisor. Passenger is refusing to move from another seat. Now everyone was watching. Whispers filled the cabin. The man finally stood up, but not without one last jab. Whatever, I'll move. I just didn't think she was well. Never mind. With that, he took his things and moved to his seat in the back. It was boarding time at gate C-17. Alicia Moore, the CEO of a multi-million-dollar tech firm, quietly stepped into the first-class cabin. 5 minutes later, just before takeoff, the plane was halted. The man was nowhere to be seen. Power isn't always loud and obvious. Sometimes it's quiet and steady. So remember, it's not always about being the loudest or the most aggressive.